we're live. Look at that. Bang on time. How can you get that? Those that have been here before or watching this on record, thank you ever so much for watching us. Those that haven't, then welcome aboard. Welcome to our weekly podcast, our stream, whatever you call it, on the paranormal. And I'll just quickly, briefly cover the paranormal for you. Paranormal to myself and all of us is anything that you cannot explain naturally. It could be a UFO, it could be Bigfoot, it could be a big cat, it could be a ghost, it could be a haunting. And believe me, there are different types of spirit phenomena out there. It could be something else that's just paranormal. Tonight we've got my co-host Paul Howard up at the top. He's founder of his group Host for Ghosts. That's on Facebook. Pop it along and have a look at that. Obviously come to South Coast Ghosts first because we're much no. we're the podcast weekly that we put a bit of fun into the investigation world. I like to think anyway. If you are going to post a comment on the right hand side, you're on Facebook, please visit the link on StreamYard. Otherwise, it doesn't bring up your name. If not, just put your name beside the comment or whatever, and we know who we're addressing. We've got Daniel from Mythical Legends. He's our resident Bigfoot hunter. He's if you want to pop along to his group, Mythical Legends, he does all the cryptid stuff and whatever. And hopefully in a bit we'll be joined by John Downs as well, along with V, who often comes on our show, and Richard as well, and quite a few people over the world. Then we have Shane on the bottom here, who's into a bit of everything. Shane, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Wildlife and just everything.
And that's what the paranormal. That's what the paranormal is. Yes, mate.
Shane, during this live, did you want to say a little bit about the new group you're starting?
I will do probably at nearer the end, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, mate. Yeah. Just let us know. I mean, if you've got anything you want to talk about, mate, that's not too sort of out there for us. Yes. What? Molly is paranormal.
Yeah.
Why?
I can't explain her. She's not normal.
Nice one,
oh no, that's the German Shepherd dog, Molly.
Yeah.
She's a bit strange.
Not like the owner, then, no.
No, the owner.
No.
I'm sticking up for Angela here. What are you saying about her, Paul?
Who, Angela?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't hear much from her.
Yeah, she's listening to every word.
She's always very quiet, Angela. I don't know why.
Well, sometimes I do take the gag out of her mouth.
Yeah. Honestly.
I mean, this week I've been terrible on videos. I haven't had chance to edit or look into any videos. As Paul will tell you, Paul doesn't really do much video for the time consuming, I believe, what it is.
Yeah.
Video editing, sourcing, right to the end cut is just unbelievably time consuming. If you've done any paranormal video, you'll know what I mean. First, you've got to bring all the footage home. Obviously, you've got to upload it to your source you're going to store it on, and then you have to go through it all. I think I brought home with EVP from the Zoom recorder and the action camera alone on Saturday, just over 25 gigabyte of footage. So I have to sit through 7 hours of constant footage and 7 hours of EVP in order to put together a couple of 3-4 minute videos. It takes you basically best part of a day to get the video out there. I start at 5 in the morning and I finish at like 9 in the morning normally, a couple of times before I launch a video. We did get some good results at Fiona's. We did. It was different this time. It was different. Fiona's is a shop in Frimley High Street. Hi, we've got somebody on here. Hi. If you put your
It'll be
name
from my
beside
group.
the comment, or no, our resident Bigfoot researcher has got a second screen. He can see who's commented.
Mr.
Hi,
Technology.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah,
Gemma.
yeah,
Good evening, Gemma.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it, Gemma? Because she's put here, look, and we had this a couple of times during the night. Now, the front door, it isn't that. It's Yale locked. All right. I would like to sort of have a look at the top and a lock at the bottom. It hasn't. It's got one in the middle, right? And then it's got a normal lock on it as well, and a handle. So it's got two pins basically into the frame, which do go right into the frame. Well, there was a few.
Darren's frozen. Do you know what? It's the first time I've heard him so quiet.
Okay.
Hope he can't hear us as well.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
there we
Oh,
go.
no.
He's back again.
It's the kids are on off their internet, you see. Yeah, can you get Jack to come off it, please? He's been on it all day, so he doesn't need to be on it all night as well, does he? Yeah, the front door anyway. There was a few downstairs. You were there, weren't you, Gemma? I think. And the front door just flew open, as if somebody had kicked it. And there was nobody outside. And it just flew open. And we tried. Oh yes, and on the kitchen, there was no wind. There you go, no wind whatsoever. Gemma was there, right, and she's saying
She's
absolutely no wind whatsoever. Okay, yeah, well, he's going to say that, isn't he? If you go up there.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, the front door just flew off.
It's gone again. Quick, get a word in.
I meant to say hi, Daniel.
No,
sorry.
shame down there.
Oh, I can't see because I've got the wrong glasses. Not wrong glasses.
He's
That's
frozen
shame
again.
there.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
We're trying to get a word in now. Darren's gone quiet. Look.
He's frozen. He's frozen. He's frozen.
He's probably swearing, isn't he?
He's probably cursing, isn't he?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
back
He's back.
again.
He's back.
She's
Oh, he's
going
back.
to go and get the Ethernet cable that's on the side and plug that in. I normally use one a week because one of them will shut it in the door and cut it. So try one a week really. It's like everything's disposable. Apart from the kids.
So
Anyway,
what's the front door locked, Darren?
yes,
Or was it just shut?
no, it was shut and the Yale catch was
Get
in
on
as
the
well. So
What's this?
you had to physically put a key into it to
Yeah.
undo it and pull the handle down. But the door just blew open.
There's some gremlins about tonight, isn't there?
Yeah, looks like it.
Tell Darren about our snap.
I will do. He's frozen at the moment. That's why we can get a word in. Hello, Earth calling Darren. Earth calling Darren.
Oh, God.
Any news from Darren? Anyway, we'll carry on. Is he back?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
try
he's
and
back.
manage to carry on because
Yeah.
the lead's just on its way.
Oh,
But,
okay. Yeah, you were saying about the door.
yeah, but and then there's an old-fashioned. Yeah, it is. It was. They are confirmation. So it's not a light door. It is a main outside door.
Yeah.
It's an external door. Yeah, and halfway up the passageway between the front rooms and the rear room is on the right-hand side is a serving hatch for the kitchen, and they've got an old bell there to ring when food's obviously ready or whatever. Yeah, and that rang. You had that ring. And then I was outside because you've got the flat above it as well. It's, it looks small from outside, but you've got the back room and the flat up above. ample for sort of 20 people. There was only like 12 of us there or something. And I was outside having a vape, and I walked outside, and the door just slammed on me, as if there was a heavy. It would have needed a heavy wind, right? Not just a draft, but a heavy wind, or somebody could have slammed it again on me. I believe it was somebody that slammed it on me, as if say, you know, out. Yeah.
Did it have a rear door on it, Darren? Was there a
No,
rear door? No.
side door. That would be classed as the rear door.
Right. Okay.
But that's a side door.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. You know, something strong enough. The old one's still plugged in. Strong enough to actually do that. Yeah.
Did you pick up anything when you were there when the door happened? Did you pick up anything?
It felt like somebody was behind me. Now, we did the human pendulum halfway through. I think Jack plugged it in last time. Yeah. We did the human pendulum halfway through, and that was interesting because Angela got chosen, and the no was forward, then the yes was backwards. And at the same time, we were picking up footsteps up the passageway. And then we abandoned it in the end because we heard so many noises down towards the front of the shop, people talking and so forth. But it was one of those.
Jen's just asking it. Was it a butcher's, Darren? Do you know?
Are you still there yet?
Yeah. Jen's asking, would it have been a butcher's prior to that, or do you know much about the history?
Well, Cheryl's onto the history at the minute. And no, it wasn't. It was a potter's, wasn't it? Or something like that. A pottery. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Get a note from them.
But obviously, it dates back before the potters. I think it was also a bar. So it's quite a colourful little place. It really is. And it was split into two, yes. And it was split into two. So it's quite a colourful little place. You know what I mean? Yeah, Cheryl found two doors. So
so it would have been two separate dwellings then, would it?
Yeah, we're plugged in. Thanks, Angela. Yeah, it's one of these old places, Paul. You know, it's Frimley High Street's been extensively renovated over the years.
Yeah,
and it's possibly the oldest remaining in the High Street, to be honest.
Right.
It's still got the old oak beams in the wall and across the top of the ceilings and whatever. Upstairs, there's no electricity upstairs either, which is great for the meters. Now,
yeah.
I will have plenty of footage to use because I had the Mel meter, we had the K2 meter, and we had Cheryl's music box as well. And in one of the rooms upstairs, but there was only myself and Angela at one point, and it was really interesting because first the meter would flash up to the red, and then the Mel meter would go, the sensor on it, it would flash, 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 flash. Then the REM would go on the Mel meter, because the REM ATTD.
Yeah.
And then it would set the music box off. And then the music box would go, the REM would go, the meter would go. Or the REM would go, the meter would go, the music box would go. But it's always one. It would start off every few minutes, one of the items would go off. A meter or the music box or the REM. And when you knew one had started, gone, that you knew the other two were going to go as well. That was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
We tried a good few experiments. We tried the one with the headphones and the Geo box.
The Estes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a few good results with that. That was pretty good. And then it was different this time. It was completely different. But I think a lot of buildings are. Perhaps the spirits are getting to know us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did have one fright. I was standing there talking away, and this bloody cock went cock-a-doodle-doo, and it made us jump out of our skins. Oh my god, that bloody cockle!
I will say, Darren,
yep.
just a question about where it be your expertise. Both me and Jill came across a old abandoned, I would say, building or bridge or in the forest last Friday. Would you say there's anything linked to that?
A link to what? Paranormal or?
Yeah.
Well, everything's been used down there, isn't it? And depending on what use it's had. I mean, a lot of these bridges that people have been thrown off, they tend to be very active. And I feel it's because of the trauma felt by that person and carried on in spirit. So, if you've got a bridge and that bridge is the main link to a regular sort of a hanging post or something like that, I think that's going to be a prominent place in a person's mind as they're being taken to the gallows. Therefore, maybe when they pass, they go back there. So I often find, I don't know about you, Paul, but I often find places like that can be. But
yeah, I mean, if you go back in time, highwaymen used to use bridges to cross the river, and that's where they would hide their camps a lot of the time because they would have water. Most of the forest they would hunt in anyway. But where there's water or moving water, streams, rivers, there's always, there's how spirit move around. Moving water creates energy. Energy creates, spirits use it to move around. It's like, I don't know whether you know about ley lines, they call them ley lines. And a lot of ley lines that they say that's how spirit move about, how they can come move about places, in a split second, be there and a split second later.
It was weird because when we had to get through this thicket and just get to the edge of the forest, so we finally almost done 3/4 of the forest, I would say, and we got to where it was fenced off. And from a distance, it looked like a bridge, but when you got closer, there was a sign on it that said "Danger, you'll drop significantly." And we go, okay. And what it looks like a blocked up house when you get to it with quite intricate blocks, which means, and there was a little hatch at the bottom, pitch black, which kind of says to me, does it drop? Now, when we went round, it really just went into a big bowl of just quite ridgy around us, and then we found claw marks there on the ground. We also found a possible tree bend that could be natural, but we did kind of pick up on it. I'm going, so we found this old building. Now my instinct goes, is this just something that someone's built? But it looks really, really old, which means
you also have to remember, if it's near a river, they would have built pump houses to pump the water from the river to either agriculture the ground. For agriculture, the farmers would have built a pump because it'd have been a natural spring water or a natural well where they could have got water for a local village or made a pump house out of it, hence why it's so deeply dug. You're pumping, it could be that there was a village somewhere in that region that would have used the water from the pump house. It could have been for farmers to water their animals. It could have been, done for, agricultural reasons, for plants and to grow stuff. But also where there's clean water, there's always a place to survive, isn't there? So a lot of these places are lost in the forest.
There ain't a big body of water that is surrounding this forest, I would say. Is there,
Also-
Darren? There ain't.
Also, you got to remember during the Second World War, they built a lot of defence boxes in the forests as a fallback. So if the Germans were to land and invade, they had somewhere to fall back into the forest because the Germans would have been on different terrain. So they built a lot of these. That's why you see a lot of these pillar boxes and these concrete boxes are just in the middle of nowhere. You know, because that was a fallback defence. You know,
Yeah.
the only way you'd really tell is to go. It's like myself or Darren to sort of go up, or both of us get near the energy of it, try and feel. You know, sometimes like we did at Waverley Abbey, I can touch it like I did at Waverley. Darren will tell you, I touch it and see whether it takes me back there. You know, it's that
Yeah.
sort of connection that you need. You know, I want to say it's a pump house myself for pumping water from a well.
And
But
say
once you're
we
sorry,
have that's right. We have littered the whole forest in trail cameras. Now, where you kind of have a track where it looks like a car track. It's not. It's where we found a shadow tree structure, and we walked all the way along this time. And when it was like you got to kind of a closed bit where you had to kind of walk through the brambles, and that was where the building was. Now we've placed a trail camera right on the entrance, and it just so happens we've also placed a trail camera where Darren, where we had the bones activities. Hi, I don't know who that is. He's probably it's probably someone from my group. Yeah, but it's just the more and more we go into this forest, the more and more history comes out of it, and I can say that the findings that we're finding is something every time we go there. We're finding something new every time, and we've now been going for 14, 15 weeks, and we found something every time. So I go, is this possibly something where something's living? Possibly. What went through my head when we found what that building was it a mining area? Now I'm currently looking at history and what the Quantock Hills has kind of held. Now, yeah, and you go, if there's caves, you go, is something living?
somewhere there will be a cave structure, won't there?
Got
You know, whether you find the entrance to it or never ever find the entrance, the ground level has risen so far up since you know, but 200 or 300 years, if not further back than that. The ground level has got so much higher that I expect a lot of entrances are covered anyway by the ground. It's just so happened that as the earth decays, so more and more entrances may well start to be seen. You know, that building is there for a reason. You know, whether it's a reason or whether it's a hiding place. You know, my feeling is that it's a pump station, some way of pumping water from a well, either for animals, a farm. If you imagine back 300 or 400 years, there would have been farms everywhere littered all over that area of the hills. You know, because generally, you know, farmers had the hills, that they had the forest to hunt. Yeah. So somewhere along the line, you could find that you know is a well that's supplying something in one of the fields. I don't know, without seeing it and being near it and feeling the energy of it.
Try and take
difficult, isn't it?
next time, Daniel.
Yeah.
Take
a picture of the bricks.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, Paul. Next, not the next time coming, but the next time after, we're hoping to get that down. So you are more than welcome to kind of come along.
Okay, thank you.
And it's I honestly can't wait for it, because the plans that we got in place for trying to flush out whatever is there, means we can get drones in the air. Which means once we get drones in the air and we get boots on the ground and eyes in the sky,
Yeah.
nothing can. If it's an animal, nothing can escape us.
Yeah.
You can't with eyes on the ground and eyes
But then,
in the sky.
also, you've also got to remember, if there's an animal in there, Bigfoot, whatever, it's had many years to cover itself and cover its tracks. So, you know, these things are not easy to see. That's why you
And
don't get very rare sightings of them.
Yeah.
And
You know?
all it would take for me to prove that there is something there was something to either make a really loud sound, a distinct sound, something to run by, something that we can with our eyes and go, right, that is something, or something like ghosts or something.
The thing is, though, Daniel, you know, you go there, but you might hear something and see something, but be purely accidental. The more you go looking, the more you can't see the wood for the
Never when
trees.
you're looking for it, is it?
No, it's the same as
Never when
paranormal ghost hunting, and Darren will tell you, when you least expect a noise, a bang, anything, is when, you know, when you least expect, you'll be chatting away and then you'll hear a voice, or you'll hear something, a slam when you least expect it. And it'll be the same as looking for your Bigfoot and things like that in the forest. It may be
My
you'll go
Bigfoot.
there on one occasion, and it'll be just by sheer luck. I mean, this is how it happens in the paranormal world. Darren, too. You know, people see apparitions. It's not by skillfully getting themselves in the right place. It's by pure luck that you come across these things. And a lot of sightings are done by accident. You could be walking out in the middle of the forest camping, and suddenly this big creature appears from nowhere, and that's sheer luck. That's not planned.
It was lucky that we kind of get
I'd agree with this. Let's go and sit in the woods.
Yeah.
Go. That's what I said to you, wasn't it, when you left me abandoned for that hour?
Get eaten.
Just sit in the woods. Just listen. Feel what's around you. Just try and make as little noise as you can. Just sit there and, you know, maybe.
It's hard to do that in winter because you're shivering.
Make a blanket.
But is there more sightings of Bigfoot in the winter or in the summer months, in the spring? When's the most appears to be the most active for them?
From my knowledge, Bigfoot hunts at night. Now there is question of them eating berries and like having the fruit side of stuff, but also then eating deer and your meat side. Now, for them, a lot of Bigfoot sightings in America come at night. So you go, right, to relate that to here, you go, okay, if they're hunting at night, you then turn to, okay, when do you have the most night? That's winter. Now, right now is perfect time to find activity because it's the shortest days of the year, which means you are gonna get it's the least amount of light, which means hunting gonna be all night. Now, which is why
it knows you're there.
Well. Yeah.
Just back in USA, have you ever had? You seem quite knowledgeable. Have you ever had a sighting, an encounter yourself? That'd be interesting. You know, if you have, it'd be interesting to find out and what your feelings are on them.
I did wonder whether they hibernate during the winter months. You know, like normal animals, where they disappear underground for months on end till the weather starts to warm, or whether it's too cold. Maybe they hunt and bury their kills.
To answer that question, Paul, we don't know. We don't know. We haven't
Or-
proven, and this is science opinion.
Yeah.
This is science opinion of Bigfoot. Haven't actually proven anything about Bigfoot.
Or do they?
We know.
Sorry. Do they travel
Well,
into different dimensions, into different worlds? So there is that as well.
This is what we were saying about them being spiritual.
I think there's an
it's-
element of spiritual to them. I don't think they're just flesh and blood. I think that they are, because they're not an animal. There's just no way. They're just
No.
too. It's when you have encountered something like I've had a growl, something growl at me and grunts. It was a cross between the two. It was loud. It was very powerful. It was only about 20 yards away, but it was to set. It was It vibrated up through the ground and up through my body. It didn't put any fear into me at all. And I just thought, well, because of my vision that I had, and it sort of guided me out into the forest. And like after 3 days of venturing out, it contacted me. I know it sounds strange, but this was probably the one that sent me the vision. Do you know what I mean? This is what made me interested in it in the first place. And when I went out there, only the third time out, this creature, whatever it was, let me know that it was there. So when I ran over to where it was, there was no sign of it anywhere. And there was nothing running off. There was no deer. It sounded like a bit like a stag, right, in the rutting season. But I know it wasn't, because it wasn't September. It was in September, sorry, and not in late autumn.
But also, you got to remember these creatures have adapted to their surroundings. That's what
yeah.
You know,
And
they're very clever by
Yes,
adapting to their surroundings.
that I never heard anything run off. I don't know whether they can sort of cloak themselves. They reckon that they're, because of their medulla, as you were on about, like their hairs.
Yeah.
It's got a reflected light, so it looks, in the light, it looks virtually invisible. So
Yeah.
it knows what it's doing.
But that's how they survived for so many hundreds of years, isn't it?
Oh, they've been on the planet since man.
So they've learned to adapt to their surroundings, and because the more we encroach on their surroundings, the more they're going to have to be adapting to the surroundings, because we're getting closer, aren't we? As we build out.
We are getting closer. But this is what it's stated in the Native Americans said that they become more prevalent in end times. So now that sort of everything's going on in this world at the moment, this great awakening, and with the internet, people are getting information and they're seeing weird things, really weird things, you know, like they wouldn't have done 20 years ago before the internet, actually, with the YouTubes and things like that. So yes, there's so much information out there now of what's really going on in the world, and it's starting to wake up people. And people they're looking into and saying, look, you know, this is a spiritual battle we're in, and this is a spiritual realm, not just the flesh and blood type of thing. You know, as it says in the Bible, you know, our enemies are not of flesh and blood; they are of it's a spiritual battle that we're going through. So I mean, we're getting we such as you, Daniel, like, you know, they've cut it. Something's telling you to show an interest, right? It doesn't just come to no one. It comes to somebody that's been blessed with the ability to look into it and to research. So you at a young age, I mean, most young kids are like the unknown. They want it. They want to know. Oh, what's all this about? Oh, is there ghosts? Is there witches? Is there this? Ghouls? You know? And now this world that we're living in is these stories are becoming true. These stories that we've got told down the line thousands of years ago, and You know, these are becoming true, and we're going, do you know what? There's bloody evidence. People are seeing these things, weird cryptids all over the world. You know,
and I
so
will
they've got
say,
to live. Sorry, they've
yes,
got to live somewhere. So I think, and my gut feeling is telling me that they're from a different dimension. They come from in and out of different travel times and dimensions. A bit like the ghost side of it.
you in in the opinion of Bigfoot, you have kind of two different sides to what people think it is. And I've put myself in the middle. I don't know, and I haven't made up my opinion there yet, and I won't for a while, because I'm going on myself, and I think it makes sense, on the stuff that I found physically in the forest, and Darren can there has been some odd things. I'll give everyone that, but Darren will kind of back me up, I hope, on this.
Go on.
Ivy,
Ivy.
I will say that it's all been physical evidence that has been in front of me, and the first thing that Darren spotted could be big cat activity. Now, the only one anonymous, I can't even say that word.
What's that word?
I can't say it. I can't say it.
Anomalous. Anomalous.
No.
No.
Anomalies.
Yes. Yes.
But what you also have to remember now, though, everybody with a phone is a roving reporter, aren't they? Because now we have the ability to report anywhere, anytime, and any place in the world.
We have more cameras, and since 2000 they've been showing them. So, do you think that's because we've got more cameras, or do
It's
you
because
think
everybody's got a camera, aren't they, Darren? You think
or
how many people have a phone? Everybody that has a phone has a camera. Yeah.
Respecting USA, what do you think? I mean, that statement there. I mean, what do you think? Do you think they're showing themselves more, or
I'll try and get this. I'll try and get this person on.
Yeah, because you've got, like I was saying, everybody's a roving reporter now, aren't they? Because everybody's carrying these phones that are very high spec cameras, aren't they, Darren? And very good, and you know, so no matter where you are in the world at any time, at any place, you can record, take pictures. So is it that we're more recording, taking pictures now than we've ever done before because we have the cameras? Not everybody could have afforded a camera, 50 years ago. 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Now,
obviously, with technology, then things have got more technical. They've got more. It's come to light more, and we were just going on stories before, passed down through generations, and if you don't see any evidence in a story, then you don't believe. If you've got a camera and to prove part of the story, then people start believing.
If you think how much technology is in your camera, it's far more technology in your phone than there is in a space shuttle. So is it the technology, like you say, is becoming that much better now than we've ever had 20 years ago?
The biggest piece of technology to cut. Sorry, Shane. The biggest piece of equipment you need out in the forest, the probably most important thing is your eyes, because your eyes will see what is in front of you. And I gotta say, I take less pictures than I look at evidence. So I'm on the floor. I'm literally on the floor looking, and I'm also in the air looking, because when you have a camera and you're looking for that photo, you're kind of missing everything else around you, which is why I kind of have my phone in my pocket where I can get out very, very quickly, but I'm also using a different way of kind of just looking all around me instead of because if you have that phone ready, that photo may never come. It was like when we found Jawbone, it was purely because we were looking the right way and looking in front. So a lot of it comes by absolute luck and absolute accidental, as we were saying a minute ago.
Well,
Where
sometimes your camera can be a distraction, can't it, from what
There
you're
you
actually
go.
looking? You know, when Darren
to
will
be
tell you when you go on a paranormal night, you know, because we have cameras set up, we don't always use the cameras because we'll, like me and Darren will say, "What do you feel?" And he'll say, "What do you feel?" You know, the cameras might not see it, but we feel it. But cameras tend to take a distraction away from what you're actually doing because you're so concentrated on getting that one-off picture, that one-off video, that one-off sound that you actually miss it.
yeah,
Well,
and
one
to
thing
be
good
fair,
about
sorry,
Sorry.
I think as well with the digital side of things, I think the Sasquatch has got the ability to distort it, you know, through frequency. I think because this is like the older cameras are probably better because they can't distort it as much. Hence why
This
the
is-
Patterson and Gimblin film was probably the best and unique footage that we've got.
It's also in the paranormal world, they've gone from DSLRs back to Polaroids, haven't they, Darren?
Right,
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is
I mean,
analogs, isn't it?
some of
yeah,
the
the
best
analog. Yeah, I was going to
are
say the
actually coming
digital.
to the Polaroid cameras.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is analog, isn't it? Not digital.
I think that's the way forward. If we go backwards on coming forwards instead of because you'll find because I've taken my camera out in the woods before on a gimbal which is battery operated. I've taken my phone out. The battery died on the phone. The gimbal was spinning round. It was just going crazy, you know. And there was an atmosphere about the place, and that just proved to me that something was going on. You know,
Yeah.
something was
Often can,
interfering with my digital equipment.
Yes.
But then that's a distraction because you're so busy looking at that. What
Yeah.
was actually around you, Shane? What was
Well,
causing that?
we did pick up on something that looked like an area which was pixelated, like there was an energy coming from it. So we presumed it was some sort of entrance, a portal or something like that. So the closer I was getting to this sort of pixelated area in the woods, my camera was just going crazy. The dog that we had with us wouldn't leave our side, and he usually just does his own thing. So we knew that something was unusual. As I said before, my friend, she's an empath, so she picks up on certain things, and she said to me, "Oh, this really is weird here." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "My battery's just gone dead in my phone. My gimbal's spinning around. Everything's gone, you know, topsy turvy." Yeah, you know, we could feel the energy. So that energy affected the digital equipment, whether it was Sasquatch or whether it was the portal or whether it was a bit of both. I don't know.
This is what I was saying to you about, you know, the biggest bit of equipment you'll ever take on an investigation is you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you get the feeling. You listen. If that Sasquatch or any cryptid didn't want to interact with you, you wouldn't get the urge to go to them certain areas. I don't think.
I tend
We've get a sort of. I think we get a little. It's a sixth sense. It's an interest in just getting up one morning and going, right, do you know what? I fancy going up there. Do you know what I mean? It's all sort of pre-planned in one respect. Something's sort of guiding you there for you to, and you know, that's especially if you find something, you think, well, hang on a minute, why was I guided here and I've only been in the wood like 3 or 4 minutes.
Which is why I then
usually the case.
Which is why I go to old fashioned and I've been given, this is probably the most important piece of advice I've been given by people who know what they're doing when they're out in the American forests, and the most important piece of advice they've given me: notebook, and a pen. And the
Yeah.
reason why is because when you've got then these and they see something, you then write it down immediately. You got it on paper and you've seen it. Now, with cameras, you may not be able to get out quick enough. Now, obviously, throughout researching and yes, throughout experience as well, I've possibly had something to do with infrasound, and it's like other things can kind of affect us, but they can never kind of affect your eyes where you can just see what's in front of you. Now, and I'm only kind of basing this on Bigfoot. I don't know about the ghost side of stuff because I don't do that side of it. But on Bigfoot so far, that is probably the most important piece of equipment when you're going out, which is why I don't take an awful lot anymore.
But sometimes people put it down to coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence. You're there for a reason. You're drawn to that place because there's something that wants you there. You say, "Oh, yeah, that was just a coincidence." It's not. You're in that place, or in that time, or in that realm, or you're in that house, haunted house, or you're in them woods because you're drawn to it at the specific time. Why else would you be there other than you wouldn't just get up and walk straight into the woods, or like me and Darren, we wouldn't get up and walk straight into a haunted house. You need, sometimes when you're investigating private locations, and Darren will tell you, you're drawn, or the spirit draws you to that house because it wants you to help. It wants to explain its life. And it's the same as you. You're drawn to certain parts of that. In that forest of 47 million acres, why do you end up at one point where you found the footprint? How could that have
exactly? That's what I tried
That's not
explaining.
coincidence. That's not coincidence.
He's gifted. He's been blessed. He has with with as you said, guidance.
Yeah.
And
he's blessed because he knows me and Darren know, Shane. That's the thing. That's what I say.
Well,
but just remember, there's no such thing as coincidence. You're drawn to a place, a house, a haunting, whatever, because there's a reason behind that. Whether you find that answer at that specific time, it may take you a few times. It might take you longer. It might be that you're walking along and you've walked over some evidence and not realised, and eventually it's drawn you to that specific place at that specific time because it wants you to know. So it knows you know.
On that side, Paul, it's also luck where you can go. A lot, 90% of Bigfoot researchers in America find absolutely nothing when they just go out for a walk. And that's when I turn to. When me, Nan, my cousin went out to the forest. We've been going out to the forest, and actually, we weren't looking for Bigfoot, but we were still out in the forest, and we've been doing that about a year now, and I can go, we found nothing. Now, whether that was because we weren't looking, but the weird thing that I find with this is it was luck that Nan happened to turn around. Now, whether she happened just to look around, yeah, but I turned to kind of a where you go. People keep saying to me, there will come a time where you don't find anything, and at that point, don't give up. Now, that can happen, and it has happened before, where you go, is there point doing this there anymore? And it takes an awful lot of confidence to get back out in that forest. Now, that's why I turn to my point and go, every time I'm in Dan's car, she's driving to the forest, you need to be prepared to find nothing. And that's why it comes at you as surprise. Because if you go preparing and you're excited for it, there's a good chance you won't find anything. And it's like the bones, there can be a logical explanation for it, because animals do die, and you go, yes, it's rare to find jawbone, but there's badgers and that around there. So that's why I go to kind of a luck side of things, where now I don't know if you get that, but that's
But then we could do a paranormal night, myself and Darren. We could sit there for 8 or 9 hours, which I've done and got nothing. You have to be prepared
Absolutely.
for these
Yeah.
things to happen. If you think you're going to a haunted location and it's all going to kick off like you see on the TV, and Bigfoot's going to come running through the trees and all this sort of thing, then you're only disappointing yourself. Darren will tell you he's probably sat in numerous amounts of places that had nothing for 8 9 hours of the night. That is how it is.
Yeah.
But then what drives you on past that is your passion for knowing, for the knowledge.
Yeah.
Because if you stop at the first time, you don't get any knock, bang, doors opening, someone whispering in your face, whatever, then you might as well give up. But what drives you in that sort of nature is your passion for knowing.
Yes.
So you go past that bit of not think, oh, well, okay, so we've had 2 nights where we've got nothing, but you never know. Next time out, we may. I mean, we've been to, a certain place we go to, Waverley Abbey, and we've been there. Darren tell you, we've been there 3, 4, 5 hours and had nothing, and then suddenly, it all suddenly picks up for no apparent reason. So you have to be prepared for that lull, but it's the passion that drives you on.
And Paul, I'm very, very glad you said that, because also another important message when you're researching Bigfoot, when you're out in the forest and people think that that's all to Bigfoot, no, it's not all about being out in the forest. It's using your laptops and that to kind of research the history of it, and then I've gone into like for example, the event. It's like creating and the book, and it's kind of creating yourself a massive range of the same topic, but when you're out in the forest, and if people think that it's like with the paranormal side, I bet you anything that it's not just going out to the locations, it's researching what you found, and
it's also familiarising yourself with your surroundings.
Yeah.
Because you can't expect to go somewhere and not be familiar with your surroundings. If you go there and get nothing, but you've been out in nature or you've been in that haunted location, and Darren to tell you, you're starting to familiarise yourself with getting nothing. So when something does happen, it's a bonus. But it's that pursuit of wanting to know that makes you different to anybody else.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Something's woke us up and something's guiding us, because obviously I didn't think of any cryptids before that vivid dream, and I woke up and it was just like, what the hell was that? I got to look into that. And then when you see so many reports and you think, well, why did it come to me? Why was it trying to tell me that these things exist? And I've just been down that rabbit hole now, and I'm just like Daniel. I venture out. I phoned him, spoke to him the other day. I said, I've been out, didn't find anything. Now, a majority of the time, I do find things, right? Whether it's old or whether it's new, but there is unusual things that I find majority of the time. And I'm completely honest with people. If there's any suspicion there at all, I'll say, like, this could be tree, this could be weather, this could be man-made, this could be, but majority of the time, these branches are far too big for any man to use, to lift and to put into place. And it's just...
It's also, Darren will tell you, 80% of paranormal you can debunk. It's that 20% that you can't.
Yeah.
And Darren will tell you, he's a staunch person that 80% of the paranormal supposedly can be worked out. Natural causes, natural shrinkage, house moving, all sorts, isn't it, Darren? 80%, would you say that was right, Darren?
I'd say about that, mate. Yeah. I mean,
that's what makes it. good researcher because they, like Daniel himself, he tries to debunk things and he tries to work it out. Is it natural? Is it man-made? You know, so I mean, if you start off on the negatives or the narratives, I should say, and then everything else stands out and says, "Look, you know, this just ain't right." And as you said,
It's
a small percent, a small percentage, but you work it out in the end. It's a what's it called? It's a investigation. You go deep into detective work and things like that, which is it keeps you interested.
But when you hit that wall of nothing, it's your passion that pushes you beyond that wall.
Oh
Other people would just stop. They hit that
Yeah.
wall and say, "Well, that's it. There's no such thing as a Bigfoot. There's no such thing as a ghost. There's no such thing as a spirit," because we don't always. And it's very rare that you see an apparition. And Darren tell you, it's very rare that you do actually see a full person. But you don't let that deter you. You carry on because you know you want to learn.
Probably
Paul,
people expect you to bring out a full body apparition of a ghost. You know, you just got hold of Mark Edwards, and Mark Edwards is there, and he's where is he? Can he show himself? Well, no, he can't. Why not? Well, it takes so much energy, especially in the light, for that spirit to materialize and manifest itself. And that is why very few spirits manifest themselves. The ones that you find manifest are normally residual, if you notice, Paul.
Yeah.
And I believe the reason for that is it doesn't actually take much energy. They're not using energy to try and communicate or move anything because they are purely residual. It is just purely a recording.
Which brings you back to that stone tape theory, doesn't it?
Yes.
You know, where they can actually walk straight through you and don't realise that you're there because they're in that loop, like you're saying, Darren, where it's going over and over. So they don't need to produce energy or look for energy because it's in the fabric of the wall, the building, the floor, the house, whatever.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, how did this come about for you guys? Did you just wake up one morning and say, right, I'm going to go out ghost hunting? Or did something guide you?
Mine started off many years ago, really, to be honest with you. I thought I had a gift when I was young. It's only my partner now has really showed me how to use that gift to what I get now, and you know, and Darren's help, and you know, numerous people have helped me through my travels. But mine started when I was probably in 28, 29, where I suddenly woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning to see my nans. Yeah, to see my nans standing at the end of the bed. And I thought it was a dream, to be honest, because I suddenly woke up with a startle, thinking someone's in the room, you know. And I saw her standing there. She'd been dead 10 years, 11 years, that sort of time. And this went on for like 4 or 5 nights in a row, around the same time, 3 o'clock, 10 past 3, 3:30. And on the last night, she was saying something to me, but I couldn't see what she was saying. And then I haven't seen her ever since then, which is probably over 20 years ago now. And that sort of sparked my interest into the paranormal. You know, I asked myself the question, is there life after death? What did I just witness? Or what did I just see? You know, and then that pushed me on to learn a bit about the paranormal. And then I went to university and did parapsychology at university as a mature student, which then really showed me many, many different things, from sightings during World War II that the people see. And that sort of led me on to meeting Darren, and we've travelled on from there, haven't we, Darren, really? You know, we've known ourselves a long time, me and Darren. You know, we've done a lot of investigations together. And that's what's really sparked my interest into the paranormal, is to ask the question, you know, is there life after death?
So you've had an encounter that really opened your eyes.
I know physically we die. We all see that because we're cremated, we're buried. You know, physically we do depart this life. But I think spiritually we go on, we go on to a different realm. I'm sure we're here to either learn a lesson or to teach a lesson. That's why.
You've
There
got
is
some
sausage
good
people.
friends.
But I think we're put here.
It is. This is the test. This earth is a test.
Yeah. You know, and having
we,
my partner showing me how to harness my gift, you know, has really sort of brought me on into where I am now, into the paranormal world, where, you know, I am very lucky. I do have a gift, and she's shown me how to use that gift for the good, you know, and we do use it when we're out. As Darren gets connections all the time. We're out and we sort of always run it past each other. Do you feel this? Do you feel that? What's your? And we always do it, don't we, Darren? We always talk, and even my partner, you know, just say, "Can you feel that? Do you notice that? Did you hear that? Did you smell that?" You know, so we are very well connected, and when we're out and about, but we're sensing. You know, we're very much there.
Though, to confirm that, because when you're out on your own and you feel it, you start to question it, because the way we debunk, we will debunk it on ourselves. Or was that my imagination? Yeah, it probably was. So we won't take it forward, which is wrong, really, because that's what we're telling all people that have an experience of the paranormal just not to do. We're always
that's the detective work. That's the detective work that we're on about with the Bigfoot. And the same sort of thing. You debunk it.
Oh, no, I think when you've got that feeling, I'm going to answer a question on here as well from Prospect in USA, or a statement here of what I think. But when you're sensitive to spiritual things, I mean, I walk down the road, I drive down the road in the car every day, and I sense things. Like there's one road. Here's a good example. Round the back, obviously in Portsmouth, there's I used to live in a place called Walmer Road, which is right behind the railway station, and it's a maze of little terrace house roads either side, class park either side, single tracks and whatever. And I used to drive all these one ways to avoid the traffic to get out on what side of the road I wanted. Now, there was one road in particular. Every time I drove down it, was the buildings. It's hard to explain, but they looked like they were pixelated in a certain place, and they were vibrating. Anyway, this went on for years, and I had somebody come and join the team, and he's well gone now, and he had access to all the old records and things like that. And I said one day to him, he rang me as I'd just got to my work and I'd been down this road and it happened yet again. And I said, do us a favour. I said, research this road, blah, 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 and whatever. And it turned out that obviously Portsmouth was heavily bombed during the war. Now, basically any plane had orders that returning from London, if it had any unused bombs, to drop them on Portsmouth. Now, there's lots of places where you'll see rows of terrace houses in Portsmouth with a break in them and new houses built. And that's because there was a bomb drop there and it destroyed the houses. So instead of fixing it up, they just built new houses in there, like a couple of semis or whatever. But it wasn't the case with these, so I didn't automatically jump to, oh, it's been bombed and whatever. But it turned out it had actually been bombed. But the bomb had created fire, which had burnt out the internals of these houses, basically, and had killed quite a number of people. They weren't able to get out. And, you know, they're in their beds and whatever, didn't hear the IRA siren, these bombs bang, yeah? And it was too late, like too many. That's why you had the fire sentries on the roof to put the fires out, obviously, yeah? Well, it seems it didn't happen. But what they've done is they've rebuilt the internals of this house, but the externals looked absolutely the same. Ever since I learned of that happening and why, ever since they've stopped vibrating now. They don't vibrate when I drive down. It was as if somebody was telling me from these houses, hey, I'm here. Yeah. Now, here's a great one. That's an explainable thing. I.e., they're saying not everyone is in tune enough to feel things. I agree 101% with that. Not all mediums, sensitives, whatever you want to call us, are in fine tune with each other or whatever. There's an area of the spectrum. I mean, it's like infrasound. You mentioned that earlier. It's below the 20 hertz. Now, we can't hear below that, and that's why subwoofers work so well, because they're just above that level, and you can put a subwoofer anywhere in the room. And Craig's a sound man and guitarist. He'll agree with me. That's why you can put your subwoofer anywhere in the car, and it sounds like the bass is coming from all around you, because the ear can't work out where it's coming from. Correct, Craig?
Absolutely, yeah, totally. Your sub will be a unified kind of. It'll go. You can put it anywhere, at all.
So the sounds like it's coming from all around you. It just enhances that's mid-tone, gives it that bit of bass. Your ear can't work out. And now these animals, these cryptids, whatever they are using, tigers use infrasound. We don't know it, but they do. When a tiger opens its mouth, you're at the zoo, and it opens its mouth, and you go like that. It's actually creating something around about the 15 hertz range, 15, 18 hertz. And you can feel it in your body. All of a sudden, you know that because you get the encouragement to be scared and run away. And you realise suddenly that creature can actually rip you to shreds and swallow you in one lump. Now, not everyone's in tune, and you're 100% correct on that. I'm not contradicting that at all. But this is where it runs back to, right? Now, to understand this, you've got to understand the way that we're born up. Children, I believe that we are all 100% equal. There is nobody different on this earth. And I believe that we can all pick these things up if we want to, and that's where it lies. If we want to, and the amount of beating it out of us that our parents do upon us. Now, Daniel's lucky because his parents aren't beating it out of him. I'll explain that in a second.
Right.
Not yet, anyway.
When,
they won't dare. They will not dare.
There's always time, don't you worry.
when you learn hypnosis of any level, you should really be taught about the two main minds. You actually have three minds, right? But we're going to state two. You have the subconscious and the conscious mind. And I've explained this to a few on here before. When you're a child, we say the age of up to 12 because it's politically correct. But the actual term for it is before puberty. That person is in a constant state of subconscious mind. They're learning all the time. They can pick up remote control, laptop, the video camera, and you and I sit there for hours trying to work this out. We're looking at a book, we're putting our glasses on and off, we're going, oh yeah, there's that button, and they come along and the little sods just go straight, and you go, you bastard. How did they do that? Yeah. Now, when they've only got the subconscious mind, when they hit puberty, teenage years, we're supposed to say 12. I'm blunt, short, sharp to the point, as everybody knows. They suddenly hit that I know everything, yeah, and they grow what's called a conscious mind.
I've always known everything, Darren.
Into your conversations and things like that.
I can believe that.
Like father, like son, haven't they? Like father, like son.
They start bossing their parents around.
Why I drink, Darren? Why I drink?
Always done that as well, Darren.
And well, now what happens is when we're in that subconscious state, we're open to all new suggestions. Yeah, we are. When we're a child, basically, if we hear a noise, we're inquisitive, so we want to know what it is. And we're open to everything. Nobody's told us that nothing doesn't exist now. So we're learning about everything new. and we're learning every day that comes with it. There is new things. One day it may be the battery, next day it may be the remote control, you know, and something like that. Yeah. Basically, that's Daniel, mate. That's Daniel. And so basically, when we go to our bed and we hear that noise in our bedroom, or maybe the imaginary threat, yeah, or maybe we see something outside next to us, and we know it's not there, and we know it's a ghost. We go and tell mum and dad. Mum and dad beat it out of us by saying, look, the closet monster does not exist. Yeah. No, you didn't hear anybody in your bedroom because there's nobody in here. I mean, it's perfectly logical that if there's nobody in the room, nobody can speak. Correct? Well, not if you've not had it beat out of you and you've managed to learn a thing or two about it on something like this. Therefore, when you become an adult and it's been beaten out of you, you believe everything your mum and dad tell you, don't you? Because they're the ones that inevitably bring you up and teach you that Paul's wearing black, I'm wearing green, Shane's wearing grey, yeah? But even if you've got this gate guardian, right, in your adult life. I call him the gate goalie, yeah? Imagine a goalpost, and you've got this little funny gate goalie, yeah? Goalie, the ball is the new suggestion, yeah? And you've got to get that ball in to get that suggestion in there. But this gate goalie, he ain't having none of it. He ain't going to let no balls in his net, yeah? He's there to protect the net. And that is your subconscious mind. That net is your subconscious mind. He ain't going to let anything new in, yeah? Now, even the very suggestion, and you know I'm joking, yeah? If I turn around to Paul and I say, Paul, your mum and dad, they lied to you, yeah? That top you've got on, yeah, is not really black, it's grey. And see you, Shane, that top's blue. It's not grey, it's blue. You know I'm joking now, because I've just told you I was going to joke. Yeah?
I can't. I'm colourblind, Darren.
I was just about to say,
but there's still some resistance there. You resent it a little bit, yeah? That tiny, tiny bit. And that tiny, tiny bit is your gate guardian. He's your gate goalie. Now, when... Henry's saying hello.
Bye, Henry.
Now,
But also, Darren, that's conditioning, isn't it?
Yeah,
we get conditioned as we grow up, don't we?
You are conditioned. The closet monster doesn't work in that subconscious state. You suddenly develop the conscious state. What your mum and dad said to you was true. The gate guardian is not going to let anything else in. They start calling paranormal researchers idiots and things like that. You believe in Bigfoot? Well, my God, Bigfoot? No way. They'd have told us about it years ago. Yeah, but no. This is why people that, like myself, I started off when I was, I think, about 7, 8 years of age. I can't remember. At Borley Church, and yeah, I can just see Daniel in glasses next week. Yeah,
look like Elton John, money.
Yeah. But that is why you will find that most people, adults, unless they go through some great awakening like what Shane's going through at the minute, don't see ghosts. They don't communicate. They don't talk to the other side or believe in cryptids. They'll have a look at it and they'll go, yeah, maybe there is something in Loch Ness, but we'll never know. And that's it. As long as it doesn't affect me, I'm fine. Now, people that have been allowed to develop in their younger life, you've also got a lot of luck because you do a lot of your education at home as well. So you're not influenced so much by the other children.
I will never be, Darren.
Well, it's a great thing, mate, because you go to that school and you're being prepared for work, and that only really, yeah, a little bit of history and whatever, yeah. If you can read and write and you understand, you've got to be able to spell and add up, and you've got to learn something for later in life. and pursue what you want to do, people are a lot more happy, a lot happier. And it's been proven through the years. Now, you're the prime example that's going to do this all your life. Maybe not just Bigfoot, but maybe you'll get into the paranormal. Maybe you'll have something happen that makes you think, well, perhaps you're inquisitive. You're going to be inquisitive. So if the book
I thought for a second you were gonna say, "Oh, maybe Darren was right." That's what I thought you were gonna say, and I'm like,
no, you're going to be inquisitive. Whether it be me, Paul, someone else that we don't know yet. You will be asking them questions. You'll say, well, I was sat here the other night, I was researching something, and a picture fell off the wall. The nail was pointing upwards, the bit of wire is still intact. I know it was hooped over because I put it up myself. How can that be logical? It's not, it's paranormal. It's not logical, it's not normal. The same as finding primate DNA in the woods is not normal. Yeah? The same as hearing something that could be a pheasant, but definitely isn't normal. The same as finding all those bones in the woods isn't normal. The same as the picture you have on the wall behind you isn't normal. What Howard on the tape recording or the phone recording, his big cat encounter isn't normal. But because it hasn't been beaten out of...
yeah, that was my picture that just fell.
Ooh.
No.
You got to ask yourself the question: what is normal?
Yeah.
That's what you got to ask. What is normal? We relate to, oh, well, that's normal, but what is normal? That's what you got to ask yourself, isn't it?
I think normal is once you haven't got the ability to look any further than your nose, then you become normal. So normal isn't good, I don't think.
But what is normal? Not seeing past the end of your nose, not wanting to know what's out there.
Well, exactly. It's a majority of people, and they're dumbed down because they're not interested in learning and educating themselves and looking at the bigger picture. And they just, like I was not so long ago, really, football, films on the TV, couple of beers out in the evening, just normal. And I wasn't open book then.
Yeah,
I was just.
Yeah, I often question people when they say, "Oh, that's not normal." But then tell me what's normal. None of us. We're all individuals. We're all different.
Right.
What's normal? And when people say, "No, that paranormal, that ghost hunt, that's not normal," but explain to me what is normal.
Routine.
I think it's a majority is normal, and they think normal, so they act normal.
But then that's being conditioned, like Darren's saying. That's
exactly
like being conditioned, isn't it?
That is conditioned because you're not capable of opening yourself up to different thoughts and journeys and travels through there.
But then some people can't see outside that narrative, can they? Because they don't want to know, because their life is quite happy going along as it is. Why would I want to look outside the normal for something that may stall my life or may stall my journey through it? If I stay as I am, then my journey carries on. If I drop out like we do, where you drop into the paranormal, or like Darren, like Daniel's doing, that's outside the normal, isn't it? And a lot of people don't want to drop out of that normal because they don't know what's beyond that. It scares them.
Well, that's right, and they become scoffers and ridicule you, and
they're the ones that are rude.
Yeah, they're the ones that are just not. You've just got to feel sorry for them because they're not capable of opening themselves up to different frequencies and different thought
I had
process.
an investigation 2 weeks ago. Paul will tell you. At the pub, I mean, I say things that I see, but and I offend people for it, but I'm very non-confrontational. And I was in the bar area about 11:30 getting a Coke. And there was this couple, and she had a dog. And he obviously, you could tell, had been drinking all night and had only just come into that pub for a couple, got the air in between. And she said, "Oh, they're going to do the board in a bit. Shall we join in?" And he went, "Yeah, if you like, but it's a load of shit." And my ears just went, "Hmm." He went, "No, it's a load of rubbish. They're all fakers. You know what they're like. They're con men. They enjoy, faking it for other people, so they make money out of them and stuff like that." And she started talking to me. She was really interested, and then he started again. So I said, "Bro, I said, it's up to you, mate, what you think." I said, "But this is my hobby." I said, "I've got no financial gain in getting an extra tap for the night or whatever, an extra bang or being pushed. Then nothing happening, basically." So you went, "Oh, right." You went, "Yeah, but you all fake it, don't you?" I said, "Well, if that's what you want to think." I said, "No, I don't, but if that's what you want to think." "Ah," you went, "You're full of shit." I said, "No, actually, I'm not." But he went, "Well, that's what the paranormal's all about, isn't it?" I went, "No," I said, I have other work and commitments and so forth. This is one of my hobbies." And he went, "Oh," I went, "What do you do then?" And he said something. I went, "God, that's a load of rubbish, isn't it?" I went, "It's all fake." I said, "It's all right." And he banged his glass down on the bar. And he went, "Now, why the hell are you? What right do you think you've got to tell me what I do is rubbish?" I went, "Well, there you go then." I said, "You just spent the last 2-3 minutes telling me everything I do is shit." Yeah? I said, "How do you think that makes me feel as a human being, being told that by a person I've never met in my life before?" Yeah? Are you off, Daniel, are you?
Yep, says Dad. We're both off. But thanks, guys.
Well,
See you later.
And,
good to
and
see you.
He's
Frank.
ready. I'm sorry.
All right, good to
and
see you, mate. Thanks for joining
and I
us.
will say, Happy Christmas to you all. And I
Merry
will not be
Christmas to you,
joining
mate.
on Christmas
I'll
Day.
see you next
Darren.
week, Daniel. Yeah?
We'll be
No,
calling you. We'll be ringing you live.
I'm not being on Christmas Day. I'm sorry. I'm not
We'll-
being on.
We'll
Why?
call you from Christmas Day.
Yeah. We're on Christmas Day. If
There you
not,
go.
we're just going to bombard Mythical Legends with loads of messages. Daniel's gone missing.
You do not do that.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cheers, big
Bye.
soon, Rankin.
No, but he basically carried on, and he got really nasty. To the fact somebody else had to come over, and I just kept going, "No, I'm not interested in whatever." And that's what they do. But this is interesting in the chat here. If you had infrared with color blindness, that would be quite interesting. Yeah. Yeah, because you're looking around about 750 nm on infrared. So I wonder how color blindness would affect, because that's on the grayer spectrum, isn't it? So what do you think about it all, V? I mean, you've sent me a message tonight and whatever.
Well, am I unmuted? Yes, I'm unmuted. Okay. I was thinking about this normality thing, and I just put in the private chat. I think normality only relates to each individual, and the fact that people commonly project their normal onto others is just because they make assumptions.
Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
that's brilliant, mate. I like that one. Saw that. I saw that about 5 minutes ago, and I thought, what a fantastic way to sum it all up.
People are scared of coming out of the normal, like that guy was saying to Darren, "Oh, that shit." I bet the truth be known that if something happened, he would run out of that pub as quick as it, because it's not normal.
Right,
But a knock, a bump, a bang, people that don't understand tend to attack, don't they?
Yeah, guarantee it.
Like he did with you. He had no reason to say anything, had he? He could have just stood there and been perfectly quiet. He didn't have to he just thought he'd be clever, you know, and him, you know, piping up. But then you do meet that a lot in the paranormal world, you know, as you go along. I suppose you meet that during life, don't you? Really, you meet these people that
we've got to have the skeptics really out there, aren't we? So
yeah.
I mean, skepticism brings us back down to normality anyway. That's you know, it's easy to run away with yourself when you're in the paranormal world. And it's also easy. I mean, the eyes look for shapes of a face and detail of a face in everything you come across. And I get sent quite a few photographs. Oh, John's back. Oh, John.
Hi,
But
guys.
then that's what's called pareidolia, isn't it?
Well, we all have it. We all have it. And you know, you look at the car manufacturers make their cars look like a face. So, you know, they're more appealing to females or males on whatever models they are. You know, if you look at like a little Fiat or whatever, it'll look quite pretty and so forth, like a Beetle, yeah? Whereas a Jag will look like it is a Jaguar and it's going to pounce on you. And that's how they do it, you know, the round eyes and things like that. And we look in anything, and I get sent through loads of photographs of people go, oh, I was up at my nan's at the weekend and I got this picture. What do you think of it? There's a face in the background. And nobody was standing there. And they ask you with a question mark, this is what gets you, what you think of it. And then they go on another 101 sentences on there's a face. And you get to the end of the writing and you've already looked at the picture and you know it's not paranormal. And you're now thinking, oh, how am I going to save offending this person? Do I not reply? No, that's rude. And they take to that. Do I turn around and say to them, I'm really sorry, but I can't see anything? Do I turn around to them and say, could be something there? No, I'm lying. So your decorum has got to be
But then that comes down to pareidolia, Darren, doesn't it? Where you can imagine things, can't you?
Is that it, Paul?
What's that? Parasols. It's pareidolia. It's when your mind puts things in there that are not there. When you see things, faces in smoke, or you know, there may be a face in a tree trunk. It's your mind putting. It's like the power of suggestion, isn't it? Yeah. The power of suggestion is a massive, massive thing, isn't it, to all humans? You know, you could say, "Oh, did you hear that bump?" Somebody will go, "Oh yeah, I did hear that," but it might not have been anything. And it's the same as pareidolia. Pareidolia is when your mind puts faces, various things in brick walls. You know, people see the pictures in bread, don't they? And you know, faces in logs, faces in smoke. It's what's called pareidolia.
Yeah, I've got a really interesting short video that demonstrates that really well. I've just put it into the address into the Mythical Legends group if any of you want to see it.
Okay,
I can put it in the chat here as well if you want to share it, because I can't get on the general comments where the 26 people are. So I'll put it here. And the thing is, there are two phrases, and they're both slightly different, and it repeats over and over again, just somebody saying something. And if you look at one of the phrases, that's what you will hear. And if you look at the other phrase, that's what you will hear. It's a really, really weird, freaky thing. And it's in the chat there if anyone wants to go and have a look at it.
But then does that come down to the power of suggestion? Because, you know, somebody, like we were saying, V, you know, somebody will say, oh, did you hear that knock? Or did you hear that creak? And a lot of people will say, yeah, I did actually, when there might not have been. You know, because you can power of suggestion to us humans is massive, isn't it? Yeah. You know, we can suggest anything.
Yeah, I mean, the other night at Fiona's tea rooms, when we were actually standing there and that bloody front door just flew open. There wasn't any wind outside. There wasn't anybody outside. And on top of that, the door was difficult to open anyway, as we found out when we went to open it properly, because the Yale catch sticks into the key. So you have to put it sideways, yeah? So if somebody had just turned a key in it and turned the handle down and pushed it, it wouldn't have opened like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you look at those sort of things, you think to yourself, how did that happen? How did that happen? But I suppose after 43 years of it, you know, oh, thanks, Lee. He's put it, that synced to me. I'll put it on the main, yeah, I think that's, hang about. I think that's the one, isn't it?
Oh, hang on, that one.
Yeah, that's the one, mate. Thank you.
If you have to, what you'll have to do is copy that link all the way back to the equals before HTTPS, and then followed by some numbers in YouTube, because otherwise it will take people to the messenger chat.
Right. Okay.
just delete the beginning HTTPS messenger.com php ? U equals, and then the link will work straight to YouTube.
Right. Okay, mate. If I do it like, I'll send it back to you.
Tell you what, I'll do it. I'll
like
do it in a text. Yeah, that should work. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, mate. I will add it in the comments. Evening. We've got
Evening, Facebook.
Evening.
Whoever that is.
If I put it in the chat. Oh, I don't know how to do it.
Facebook user, evening to you. But if you can tell us your name after your comment so we can address you correctly instead of Facebook user, be nice to have a name. Yeah, like we were saying that, you know, power suggestion, you know, pareidolia, you know, all these things are what we're susceptible as humans, aren't we, really?
Oh, that's Ryan. Evening, Ryan.
Is it Ryan?
Yeah.
All right.
You, mate. Good to have you on here, mate. Oh, and we've got Tim Gayhart as well.
Hi, Tim.
So thanks for popping on, Tim. Heard some great stuff about you, mate, and whatever. So yeah,
you know the door. You said did you actually see it move, Darren, or did you hear it?
Oh yeah. They all stood there and watched it.
Right.
Open. No, it wasn't just the sound. I mean, it was the door. It was as if somebody was the other side. But the top part of it is glass panels, so you can see if anybody's out there. Yeah.
So how much force must that have took to open that door like that?
Quite a bit, of course. Quite a bit. Well, basically, what it was, Perspective USA, we hired a venue called Fiona's Tea Rooms in Frimley here in the UK, and basically we do. This is with a group called Paranormal. I'm one of the lead investigators for, and basically we go along at a set time, 8 o'clock start, and we all just go off into separate teams investigating. And there was upstairs, downstairs, offices upstairs and tea rooms downstairs. And there was a group downstairs and they were investigating. Yes, Ryan, I'm telling them about that as well. And there you go. Yeah, Ryan wasn't on earlier, he's only just come on now. And I've said this before, they weren't light doors, they were hard doors.
Yeah.
Actually, the group downstairs saw this door just like come flying open at them, yeah, with some force. And then later on, I went out the back because you have to go out to get to the offices upstairs, yeah. You go out and there's another door you go through and there's stairs upstairs. And anyway, we had to go through the old. I don't know what John's up to, but we had to go outside to vape, obviously, or smoke, but she let you go outside to that bit and smoke. Which I went out and I opened the door, and it was about half closed, and it just slammed on me, and I mean proper slammed on me. And I've not had that happen for quite a while, where 2 doors in one property slam on me. But I think we had door movement upstairs as well. I'm pretty sure we did. But the back door slamming shut, that was me, directed at me, basically as I came out. And that was a very interesting episode, should we put it. Very interesting. We had something going all night. As I say, the meters, the Mel meter and so forth. Ryan saw that, where it was going from 1 meter to another meter to another meter to a box to a meter. And there's no way that REM pod can go off. I mean, they're 300 odd quid. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thank you. I'll put that in. I would say it was a pretty good night. It wasn't OTT. It wasn't one of those nights where you would turn around and go, oh, it was absolutely amazing. But it was one of those nights where
you think they were trying to suss you out as much as you were looking for them?
I think it's only been like 4 investigations there in its life anyway. And we've been there twice already, so we've done 2 of those. And it's like we said last week, Paul, the spirits don't really know us that well.
No.
So, whereas when we go to Waverley, we tend to get the same repetitive spirits over and over and come and say hello. And you can just walk into Waverley, it's completely dead. You call someone and they come through.
Yeah. Also, the equipment, it makes you wonder if the equipment puts some spirits off. If you think they're 200 or 300 years old, maybe they don't know what green flashing lights are and red lights and things going beep, and that to me is they tend to stand back a little bit because they're not sure why did that go bleep. Why is that? Why is that light on the floor? Why is that light going green and red? And so they're inquisitive, aren't they? Like we are.
And a lot of them can't spell either, so you're going onto this board and that's why the glass works a lot better in a lot of places. And, I mean, we had the glass moving again and things like that. One thing we didn't try was table tipping. But
you also got to remember the English dialects changed as well, hasn't it?
And there's so many dialects anyway. I mean, if you go to Yorkshire, some parts of Yorkshire, you won't understand them.
Yeah.
The words. And I mean, when I first moved up to the northeast coast of Scotland, I couldn't understand. I'm like, what the hell are they saying?
Yeah.
They used to come in the supermarket, so they'd come to collect their messages.
Doctor Who. Sorry, I was just going to say Doctor Who had a lot of problem with them, didn't he? The dialects. Sorry.
Exterminate.
I've been hanging out with Richard too much.
Sounds like it. But you think our old English dialects changed massively? We're talking in our dialect these days. Is there anybody there? Anybody want to come through, communicate with us? The chances are they wouldn't have known what communicate meant anyway in a modern language where the dialect the English dialects changed that much
Yeah.
over the
Well,
hundreds of years.
I think a lot of those words are from Latin, aren't they? So
Yeah, yeah.
John suggested
If
we
they-
try that, and we
if they
haven't.
were
done it. We
if they
need
were
to.
Anglo-Saxon, there's a YouTube channel that has old Viking language paired with English language, and it's amazing how similar they are. So, like, if the Danes came to England and they kidnapped a bunch of English people and took them over there, you would actually understand the language. You just have a slightly different accent. That's obviously before the Norman conquest and all that. You know?
Yeah. But then that makes you wonder if that's where the English language originated from, really, doesn't it?
Well, it's a mix. It's a mix
From a different dialect. Yeah.
It's a mix of the old Angle and the old Saxon and Latin and Greek, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bit of Gaelic thrown in.
It's like when if you deal with demonic and the devil and Satan and all of that. Most of that communication is in Latin, not in English. It's all in Latin. How many people speak fluent Latin when you come up against something like this?
Yeah.
So it is that much different, isn't it? From 300-400 years ago to what we speak now. We probably speak a lot quicker. Our dialect's different, isn't it?
Lazy.
No worries, Henry. Thanks ever so much for joining
Thanks,
us.
Henry. Have a good evening.
It is a pleasure. Everybody that's joined us, we're on here every week, 8 o'clock. Next week, I'm probably here on my own for 15 minutes, but I will be here to keep up the flag. Yeah. And the
I could join you. I could join you.
Good one, V. Good one, V.
I'm on my own at Christmas, so I can join you.
Oh yeah. Oh.
John and I are hoping to have a game of Age of Empires during the daytime, but that night I've got nothing planned apart from mince
everybody,
pies and
Henry,
pork.
thanks for joining us, mate. So much appreciated. Every view, every comment is so much appreciated. And I mean, anybody that wants to come on next week and just for 15 minutes and say Happy Christmas and so forth, I'll aim it for 8 o'clock again. You do not have to be sober, okay? I mean, the following week will be we'll actually be back again because we've got the motorhome going over to we think we'll be back anyway. We're going over to Only Gosport for the New Year meet for the Camping and Caravan Club, so that should be fun. Hopefully.
Sounds like the plan.
So we will be back here. So New Year's Day, I'll be holding the flag as well. And I'll probably be drunk again by then, hopefully.
Sitting in the back of your camper van.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to come on. But I'm going to end the live stream now anyway, because we've run for an hour and 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure other people have lives as well, apart from this podcast. I will say before we end, thank you so much to everybody that's watched. And thank you for people coming on. I mean, John, V, Shane, fantastic having you on the show, guys. And thanks for supporting us as well, because you coming on does support us. And it means a lot to us. We started this out, just myself and Paul, and, Luke coming on, Dora coming on, and so forth. And we were like begging out for speakers and stuff like that. I mean, I know John, very, very credible and knowledgeable in the cryptid world and whatever. V, an all-rounder, I think a bit of everything. And Shane just coming to a stage where he's on the Great Awakening at the minute.
And just before you start, can I just advertise this? What I'm going to do in the new year? I think I showed you last.
Talk about your group, didn't you?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm absolutely useless with internet and everything else. So Daniel set me up a page which I
Okay.
can't remember what it's on Facebook, but I can't remember what it is now.
Ah,
So he's gone. So there's my email address,
so look.
if you can
Hang
see.
hang about, I will. Let's have a look. So you're in Shane Weldon 70@gmail.com.
That's
Yeah.
correct. And I'm going to be doing woodland adventures, going out kayaking, caving, looking for the wild man himself, bushcraft, and just whatever. And what else was it again? Target shooting, bushcraft, and searching for the wild man. So yeah.
So where are you based in, Shane?
I am based in Chepstow, South Wales, in the Forster Dean area, Gloucestershire, so on the Welsh border.
Okay, no problem. So how far are you from the bridge?
So 10 minutes, 10, 15 minute drive, all according on traffic. So Bristol's, 15, 20 minutes away. Newport, Cardiff, half hour down the road.
Yeah.
Pretty basic, pretty easy to get to from anywhere, really.
Okay. And you've obviously got pre-arranged events that you're going to be putting on for people, have you? Or?
Yeah, it's going to be. What I'm going to do is do sort of day trips with groups. I'll set up if they want to come along, or I can do father and son or father and daughter. Woodland experience, 3 nights camping, wild camping, bushcraft, wild edibles, doing kayaking down the river, the Wye Valley, caving, and just general woodland experience, adventure. It's going to be great.
And what sort of age from would you say you'd be happy taking?
I would say from 10 years up.
Okay.
Yeah, because kayaking. It's going to be quite rough for the youngsters. So 10. Up to, Daniel's age group, young teens, fathers, sons, uncles, even family trips out there. So it'd be like I'm planning on doing a weekend job and then a long weekend. So like a 4-dayer to 2-dayer and a 4-dayer, see how it goes. And then I might do, the full week, where I'm pretty much, where we'll be traveling is basically the outskirts of the town. So it's not going to be deep forest. So if we need any supplies, then we can always drive to get some. But it'll be interesting. It'll be good. I do it on my own anyway, so why not involve everybody else?
Well, absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely. That's one of your passions, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I take the boys out. They don't seem to want to go out much anymore because they're too old. They're getting into their, early 20s. They've done it all. They've done their caving, their kayaking. I've just relived my childhood through them, which has been great. But now they've got a bit older, then they're not interested. I would love to take other people out to enjoy it.
Yeah. So your background is caving and that sort of stuff, is it? Or
I've got experience in all sorts of outward bound experience: abseiling, caving, kayaking. Hiking, woodlands. I brought up in the woodlands in the Forest of Dean, so the areas that we'll be travelling around, I know very well.
Yeah.
So there's no chance of getting lost. I've got all the walkie-talkies. I've got all the equipment, proper caving equipment. I will post everything on the YouTube and on the website, or not the website, the Facebook page, when I know how to work it.
So you're not claustrophobic then, Shane, no?
Oh, no.
Because I watched this caving and whatever, where they've got to climb up and there's a shelf, and it's like that, and there's they're crawling through it, and they get halfway through and they get stuck. And they
Yeah,
can't go back, so they've got to try and, or they've got really wide shelf, like 50 foot across, and they know there's a cave system behind it, and they've got to
yeah,
pick a way. And they're like, each way to me just looks like absolutely suicidal.
yeah.
That
Well,
was sort of
some are very intense. Some, I mean, there was ones that we done in the Mendips where we had to swim under the water through a little hole to come up the other end and not notice the unknown. You don't know how long you're underwater. Admittedly, there was a rope there guiding you through. You had to duck down, close your eyes, and just pull yourself through on a rope. And that was nerve wracking. But yeah, I've done that many moons ago. But these things I'll be doing, it's pretty much there's no tight holes. It's pretty much easy for anyone, all ages really, to go down.
Underwater like that would be like, once I got to the other side,
Yeah,
knowing I've got to come back through it to get back out,
yeah.
I'm just longing to go back through it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know about others.
Yeah, well, the instructor tricked us. He said there's no other way out. We've got to either go all the way back, which we've travelled hours underground to get to this sump. He said, or we go through this sump, and then a couple of yards we're out in the open again. So, and then we all done it, thinking we were going to get out of there. And he lied, and we said we had to go back through. So yeah,
I'd have probably drowned him for that.
Is that the one in the Quantox where somebody leans across and gets the waterfall to run down their back while people go past them to get into the sump to be flushed through?
Do you know what I think it is? Yeah, it is in the Quantop. Yeah, the Mendips. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to that one when I was about 16.
That's when I done it, about 16. Yeah. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody has to stick their head under the waterfall, put their hands up against the wall, and then let the whole thing, and it's freezing cold, run right down their back. And then you have to wiggle past them, get into this sump at their feet, and then they get pulled out of the way, and you get flushed through the system.
That's right, yeah.
Going down the toilet. It's quite freaky.
So have you done a few tight spaces then, have you? I mean,
I have done when I was younger, yeah.
Yeah. We were gifted that. We were lucky, really, in experiencing that sort of thing. And I won't be doing anything that extreme with the people that want us to get involved, but it'd be pretty much basics. But there are proper, if they do find they enjoy doing the caving side of things and they want to go further in, then they can contact the proper caving club, which there's ones, I suppose there's one in the Mendips there, and I know that there's one in the Royal Forest of Dean, who I'm not actually a member, but I'm friends with them all on there. So
I'm just thinking of like tight spaces.
Well, not necessarily. If they don't want to do it, they don't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Watching on telly does my head in, mate. It's just like, I am claustrophobic. So it's like when I see them on their belly and they're dragging their way through, and it's like, I mean, there's obviously on the Isle of Wight, there's been a landslide last week. I don't know if you've heard about it.
No.
But there's an area there just south of Shanklin, and you've got what they call the Devil's Chimney, and it's a natural fracture in the ground rock and the cliff rock, and you could literally walk down steps down into this chimney if you like.
Wow.
And at the bottom you've got rocks that comes out and goes in, so you have to position yourself to get through it. Sadly that's gone. That's been filled in. It's under the rubble, so we will never ever unfortunately be able to go there again. But even that, for me, squeezing through rocks either side was enough, to sort of, I managed to get through 2 foot, you know what I mean, or something like that. no, I'm caving, mate. I can walk through Wookie Hole, Doc's Cave, Cox's Cave, but that's as far as I go, mate. That's as far as I go. And I think the older I'm getting, the more claustrophobic I'm getting as well.
Well, it all comes down to being agile as well,
Yeah,
Darren. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. As we get older, we get a bit more sort of, well, do you know what? I like my comforts now, but I enjoy taking, or used to enjoy taking my kids out. I don't want to come out so much now. So, but I'd still like to do it. And if I can take somebody along with me that shows an interest, that wants to get involved, then that's all the better.
Yeah.
And also, I'll be exploring some of the places that I've had encounters and actually tree structures and tree bends, and the stone clacking as well. So there'll be a bit of history in amongst it all as well, with this the wild man.
Just on that note, I'm going to shoot Darren. So I've got
all right, mate. No worries.
You're going to
for work.
Darren.
I'm
No, not shoot. Not from here, anyway.
You heard that, just in case anything happens to me. Worldwide. Well, that went worldwide. He's going to shoot me. And thanks everyone for joining us. End the stream now. And